Bhaktanam sevaya shambho, prasado labhyate dhruvam, bhakta bhakta priyo devo, namastasmai maheshwara. In every age and every land, there arise souls whose lives shine like sacred flames, steady, selfless, and bright enough to guide others through the darkness of ignorance. In the great Tamil tradition of Bhakti devotion, such souls are the 63 Nayanars, the saints whose devotion to Lord Shiva transcended caste, wealth, and circumstance, revealing that love of the divine is both the highest truth and the simplest path. To them, Lord Shiva was not distant or abstract. He was alive in every temple bell, every sacred ash-marked brow, and above all, in the hearts of his devotees. They saw no difference between serving God and serving his lovers. Through their lives, they taught that worship without compassion is hollow, and that love, service, and protection of the devoted are themselves the purest forms of prayer. Among these radiant souls stands Viralminda Nayanar, Amaraneedi Nayanar, and Eripatha Nayanar, these three embodiments of one timeless truth. To honor the devotee is to honor the Lord himself. Together, their lives form a living triad of devotion, reverence, generosity, and protection, each radiating a different hue of divine love. Their stories are not mere legends of the past, they are mirrors for our present. They remind us that true spirituality does not dwell in isolation, but in the sanctity of human relationship, where serving, honoring, and protecting one another becomes an offering to God himself. May these sacred lives awaken in us the same flame that burned in them, a love that sees divinity in all, a service that knows no measure, and a courage that defends what is holy. For in such devotion lies the path to freedom, where the soul, like theirs, ascends into eternal union with the Lord. In the serene hills in India lived Viralminda Nayanar, a noble person whose heart was wholly surrendered to Lord Shiva. He lived by a profound truth that true worship of the Lord begins with reverence for his devotees. To Viralminda Nayanar, the grace of Lord Shiva was inseparable from the grace flowing through his devotees, the devotees who embodied the Lord's living presence in the world. Free from ego and attachment, he saw the same divine spark shining in every heart. Each day, before bowing to the sacred linga, he would first honor the devotees, knowing that neglect of a bhakta, a devotee, was neglect of the Lord himself. One day on a pilgrimage, he witnessed the saint Sundaramurti Nayanar proceed directly into the sanctum, bypassing the devotees. Pain welled up within him. With unwavering conviction, he declared that Sundaramurti Nayanar, by overlooking the devotees, had momentarily strayed from true worship, for the Lord and his devotees are one. This boldness was no arrogance, but a divine teaching. The Lord's own reminder that love for God is meaningless without love for his devotees. Humbled by the purity behind the reproof, Sundaramurti Nayanar bowed before Viralminda Nayanar and composed a hymn in praise of his steadfast heart. Moved, Viralminda Nayanar embraced him with warmth, their souls united in the shared flame of devotion. Delighted by his unwavering love and defense of the faithful, Lord Shiva elevated Viralminda Nayanar to the divine realm, appointing him leader of the Shivaganas, guardian of the devotee's honor for all eternity. His life reminds us that devotion is not a solitary act, but a sacred fellowship, a circle of souls upholding one another in grace. His heart remains a lighthouse, guiding seekers toward an eternal truth and simple. God dwells in his devotees, and to honor them is to touch the infinite itself. In another story, in the fertile lands of India lived Amaraneedi Nayanar, a prosperous trader whose life overflowed with both wealth and humility. Amid his silks, jewels, and gold, his heart treasured one possession above all, the unwavering devotion to Lord Shiva. His worship was not confined to ritual. It breathed through service, feeding the hungry, clothing the poor, and honoring every Shiv devotee who crossed his path. His home became a sanctuary where devotees found warmth, food, and reverence. Earning to live in constant proximity to the holiness, Amaraneedi Nayanar moved to a city in India where he built a place for the pilgrims, a house radiant with the fragrance of charity. To bless and test him, the Lord appeared disguised as a wandering ascetic, carrying two simple clothing. Entrusting one dry cloth to Amaraneedi Nayanar, the ascetic went to bathe. But the cloth mysteriously vanished. Distraught, Amaraneedi Nayanar offered all his riches in repayment. The ascetic refused, declaring that only a cloth of equal weight would suffice. Yet, no amount of gold could balance the divine cloth. At last, Amaraneedi Nayanar, his wife, and child stepped upon the scale. The balance evened. A deep silence filled the air, the hush of heaven descending to earth. The ascetic revealed his true form, Lord Shiva, radiant with Ma Parvati, blessing the family and lifting them to the celestial abode upon the shining balance itself. Amaraneedi Nayanar's life teaches that grace cannot be purchased. It can only be earned through love and surrender. His offering of self transcended the limits of ritual and wealth. In the sacred scale of devotion, even a single act of genuine service outweighs a mountain of gold. His story reminds us that generosity, when born of devotion, becomes divine, transforming the giver, the gift, and the receiver into one. The third story happens in the sacred city of Karuvur in India, on the banks of the gentle Ambaravati river. There lived Eripatha Nayanar, a fierce in devotion and steadfast in purpose. With his mighty axe ever at his side, he had vowed to defend the Lord's devotees from harm. For him, protecting the devotees was not an act of valor, it was worship itself. One festive day, during Mahanavami, an aged devotee named Shivakamiandar, who daily gathered flowers for Lord Shiva, was attacked by the king's elephant. The elephant trampled the flowers, shattering the offering. Crying out in anguish, the old devotee's voice reached Eripatha Nayanar's ears. Without hesitation, Eripatha Nayanar pursued the elephant and felled it with one swift blow. He punished the Mahots who had failed in their duty. When the news reached the king, he came in haste, torn between sorrow and reverence. Hearing the account, the king was moved by Eripatha Nayanar's devotion and begged him to punish himself for the transgression of his realm. But Eripatha Nayanar, overcome with remorse at the king's humility, sought instead to end his own life in penance. Then the heavens themselves intervened. A divine voice rang out. This was all the Lord's play. a sacred play to reveal the sanctity of pure devotion. The elephant, the mahouts, the flowers were restored to life, the air filled with hymns and fragrance, and grace flooded every heart. Eripatha Nayanar continued to serve and protect the devotees until his soul was called to the eternal abode of Lord Shiva. His story teaches that devotion is not always gentle. Sometimes it roars like truth itself, defending what is sacred. His axe was not a weapon of wrath, but of righteousness, wielded in service of the Lord's own children. To protect the holy is to uphold the very order of the universe. Viralminda Nayanar bowed to the devotees. Amaraneedi Nayanar served them, and Eripatha Nayanar protected them. Three petals in the garland of Bhakti, reverence, generosity, and courage. Together, they reveal that Bhakti, devotion, is not passive adoration but living worship, a harmony of heart, hand, and will. To honor, to serve, and to protect, these are the three steps that lead the soul to the feet of the Lord. In their stories, we glimpse a world where the sacred is not confined to temples or rituals, but shines in every act of compassion, courage, and humility. They call us to dissolve the walls between God and creation, between prayer and action, between the devotee and the divine. As long as there are hearts willing to bow in respect, hands eager to give, and spirits brave enough to defend what is pure, the light of these Nayanars will never fade. Their devotion burns still, a steady flame guiding us through the shifting sands of time, whispering the ageless truth. To love the devotee is to love the God. To serve the devotee is to serve the Lord. To protect the devotee is to protect the Lord Himself. May this grace awaken within us that same fearless, tender, and selfless love, the love that turns duty into worship, service into prayer, and the human heart into a living temple of God. May their light ever dwell in our hearts, guiding us toward grace, unity, and eternal peace. Bhakti sada mama hridi stira bhavatu shambho pade yasya prasadat sarvatra siddhyante natra samshaya. May Jagatpita Mahadev bless us all. Keep seeking, keep chanting, keep surrendering. Om Namah Shivaya.